this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Well, in light of the videos that I have done on the lady in Jamaica who was complaining about African Americans renting her property, I've gotten a lot of pushback from Jamaicans, and Jamaicans are convinced that this woman is right and she's telling the truth about African Americans, and everything that she said about African Americans is truth. Anytime a Black American pushes back or offers their point of view about something, it's being divisive. But when they give their point of view, they're telling the truth. We know that there are two sides to every story. So if the Jamaican woman is speaking her truth, whomever she's talking about, and I'm assuming it's Black Americans, maybe Black American women, they have a right to their truth too. They have a right to give their point of view. And somebody had the nerve to tell me that Black Americans didn't have anything going for themselves until Marcus Garvey showed up. Now, they are dismissing all of the people that we actually respect as our heroes and as our revolutionaries to throw Marcus Garvey in our face. So the question I'm asking Jamaicans, why didn't Marcus Garvey implement his program in Jamaica? Why did he come to the United States of America to try to get something going? And he actually got something going in the United States of America. People listened to him because he was in Harlem, and Black people in New York listened to him and supported him. But the reality is, Black people in the rest of the country were going on about their business. I'm not really sure that outside of New York City and maybe some of the large cities, that anybody even knew who he was. Marcus Garvey is not the father of the civil rights movement in the United States of America. Marcus Garvey had a lot of supporters, just like anybody else who comes out talking about white supremacy, which is what he did. What gets me about Marcus Garvey is this outfit that he wears. This is the same imperialistic outfit that the kings of England wore. Queen Elizabeth's four parents, they wore this type of outfit, this hat and this general outfit. We don't know what this general title or how he came about this general title. Now, let me make it clear. It is not my goal to disparage this man because I really came to him late. Booker T. Washington was the most influential leader of his day. And he was the one that we looked up to because his legacy stands to this day. Tuskegee Institute, now Tuskegee University, is his brainchild, the university that he founded in 1881. And also the schools in the South that he established when boards of education in the United States of America would not fund Black schools. So Booker T. Washington was influential in every aspect of Black American life, and that's who we looked up to. And when it came to revolutionaries, we looked to the past, the enslaved people's revolutionaries. Nat Turner, Demar Vesey, Gabriel Prosser. These men were the forerunners of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, who are also seen as revolutionaries and heroes in the Black American community. Again, I am not trying to disparage Marcus Garvey or take anything away from him. I'm simply saying that the great emphasis that they have placed on him in terms of the contributions he made to the civil rights movement in America is exaggerated. Even in the worst of times, and it has to be said, even in the worst of times, Black Americans have tried to work within the system to effect change. And change has always come. It has come slowly and gradually, and most of the time after some bloodshed and a lot of heartache. But change has come, and we know that because people all over the world, including Black people, are coming to the United States of America trying to get a come up. But that come up is coming at the expense or through the hard work of Black Americans. But back to Marcus Garvey. Many Black Americans came away with a very negative attitude about him. But let me look at what they said about him. This is what's written about him in Wikipedia. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was a Jamaican political activist. He was the founder and first president general of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, through which he declared himself Provisional President of Africa. Now, right there, we have to question, how did he get to be the Provisional President of Africa? So right there, we have some pretentiousness. Out of all those 54 countries that we hear about in Africa, he was the provisional president, not even a citizen of any of those countries, but he was the provisional president, self-declared. He declared himself that. Then it says, believing that Black people needed to be financially independent from white-dominated societies, Garvey launched various businesses in the United States, including the Negro Factories Corporation and Negro World magazine. In 1919, he became president of the Black Star Line Shipping and Passenger Company, designed to forge a link between North America and Africa and facilitate African American migration to Liberia. In 1923, Garvey was convicted of mail fraud for selling the company's stock, and he was imprisoned in the United States Penitentiary, Atlanta, for nearly 2 years. Many commentators have argued that the trial was politically motivated. I don't doubt that this was something they trumped up against him, because nobody wanted to see Black people unified, and that was what he was trying to do. But Marcus Garvey blamed Jewish people, claiming that they were prejudiced against him because of his links to the KKK. So this too is problematic. His links to the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. That is a terrorist organization that was organized during the Reconstruction era of the United States, where Black people were really starting to get on their feet, and the white people needed them back in the field doing the work for free because they never learned how to do that work themselves. So skeptical Black historians have suggested that Marcus Garvey colluded with the Ku Klux Klan to send Black people back to Africa to get them out of the United States. So there's always been that effort to figure out, how are we going to get rid of those Black people? And so that is how come Marcus Garvey's credibility in the United States is questioned by many. Now here's another interesting piece of history from Marcus Garvey's life. In 1935, he and his family moved to London, where his anti-socialist stance distanced him from many of the city's Black activists. Now, those Black activists most likely came from the Caribbean, mainly Jamaica. So these were his people, and they distanced themselves from him because of his anti-socialist stance. In other words, I don't think there's anything wrong with being anti-socialist, but he moved to a country like he did in America, where he was against the political environment of that country. So the people in London were doing the same thing that Black Americans were doing, trying to work within the system, and he was trying to work against the system. So they saw what happened to him in the United States, and they distanced themselves from him. So I think it's safe to say that, just like Jamaica, Marcus Garvey didn't get anything popping in London. Marcus Garvey died in London in 1940, and in 1964, his body was returned to Jamaica for reburial in Kingston's National Heroes Park. Now, Garvey was a controversial figure. Some of the African diasporic community regarded him as a pretentious demagogue, and they were highly critical of his collaboration with white supremacists, his violent rhetoric, and his prejudice against mixed-race people and Jews. Nevertheless, he received praise for encouraging a sense of pride and self-worth among Africans and the African diaspora amid widespread poverty, discrimination, and colonialism. In Jamaica, he is widely regarded as a national hero. His ideas exerted a considerable influence on such movements as Rastafari and the Nation of Islam, and also the Black Power movement. Now, this is the first time that I've heard anything about Marcus Garvey influencing the Nation of Islam. Rastafari, yes. Maybe even the Black Panther movement. But the Nation of Islam was founded by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I seriously doubt that he and Marcus Garvey would have agreed on how to carry the black race forward. So I wanted to say this because Black Americans really don't want to argue and fight with Jamaicans about Marcus Garvey. Many Black Americans respected what he was trying to do. He wanted to help Black people to get back to Africa, where maybe they would have a chance to build their lives and not be living in perpetual poverty and with the discrimination. But the reality is, and I'm just going to stay with my question, all of this should have been done in Jamaica, not in the United States. And every time something comes up about Black Americans, they keep throwing Marcus Garvey at us. Marcus Garvey made no real contribution to Black America. His contributions, if he had some influence in whatever programs or agenda he was trying to implement, that should have begun in Jamaica, and then it could have traveled across the Caribbean Sea into the United States, or across the Atlantic Ocean into the United States. But his main thrust should have been in his own country, among his own people. He is not a significant hero in Black American history. Other than that, he operated with a sense of pride, and I think that was good. But as far as him making a great contribution to Black American history, that he did not do. The program that he was trying to implement should have been implemented in his homeland of Jamaica. Okay? So it's really not even that I want to argue with you about this. And again, Black Americans really don't like to have this fight. But you keep coming at us with this rhetoric of Marcus Garvey did this, as if we didn't have the ability to take a stand for ourselves. If we had not had that ability, we wouldn't be here, and you probably wouldn't be in the United States either. And most of us operate in the United States, where our home is and where we have agency, where we are entitled, and where we have been victimized from time to time. But that's where most of us operate. And I seriously doubt you will see a Black American going into a Caribbean country or an African country trying to claim that they did something outstanding for these people that these people would not have been able to do for themselves. It's very insulting the way they come across. Marcus Garvey came here and made a big splash, and then he got deported. There are other Caribbeans that come to the United States and they make their contribution. But those contributions are always, and I repeat, they are always within what Black Americans are already doing. There are very few trailblazers that come here from the Caribbean or Africa. It will probably change in the future. I hope that it will. But right now, we're not beholden to anybody because somebody came over here, got arrested, and then got deported, and then went to London, where his people, Jamaicans, were, and was not able to get anything going with them because they did not agree with his political agenda. So that is who Marcus Messiah Garvey is. The question for Jamaicans is, if Marcus Garvey was great, why didn't he implement his program in Jamaica, his homeland, where he would have had the most influence and probably support? Why didn't he do it in Jamaica? Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.